The first thing that ever made me want to do theatre, I was 7 years old. I did a school nativity, and my teacher at the time said that I had a knack for it. And when I say school nativity, all I had to do was pick an apple off a tree and fall off the back of the stage. For me, now, at 23 years old, I can't remember if that was the purpose at the time, whether I was meant to fall off, but I did, and they seemed to like it. So from there, I realised, oh, this might be quite fun. So from then on, I started finding an enjoyment out of entertaining people, and I thought the best way to do that is through theatre. One of the first things that I remember about loving acting for the first time, I was at school in a history lesson, and we watched a film that was made for TV called Hitler and the Rise to Evil. It starred an actor called Robert Carlyle, who to this day is one of my favourite actors. And I was quite young, probably shouldn't have, but I watched the full Monty, and I remember him being very very happy-go-lucky in that film. Seeing him play Hitler, completely different. Obviously, it was Hitler. But that moment when I saw him play that part, and having seen him in the full Monty as well, I realised, hang on, this is the same person, but he's playing two completely different people. And that absolutely amazed me. I thought, how can you do that? Because I thought with actors, other things I'd seen when I was growing up, such as Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, I had just seen him as Mr. Bean. I thought that's all it was. If you act, you're just that one thing. But that was the first time that I noticed, no, you can be something else. And I think the ability to almost tread in somebody else's shoes, I think is a brilliant, if cliched, analogy for it. Being able to walk about in somebody else's skin and create, develop this character, and to be as believable as he was, and as heart-wrenching and just despicable as he portrayed that part, I think that was one of the best things I have to this day ever seen. Stage-wise, one of my earliest theatrical memories was going to see a pantomime version of Play Days, which, by all odds, it should have really put me off theatre for life. But I remember my dad taking me round to the stage door afterwards and seeing all the actors come out afterwards, and I was allowed to meet them. And they were just normal people. And I must have only been about 6 or 7 at the time, but it was sort of about that point that I realised, yes, there's something else on stage, there's something else on TV, but they are just normal people like you and me. And that sounds awful. Play days made me want to start acting. No. Other early theatrical memories. My dad has always quite liked Shakespeare, although not an actor himself. We went to go and see a performance of Romeo and Juliet at my dad's old school, and we had just started studying it at school. They tried to ruin it, as all English literature teachers try to do. And I understood it. Seeing it performed on stage, I understood it. And having had so much trouble at school trying to understand what the hell is going on with this script, I just watched it and I understood what was going on. And to make something out of nothing, I looked at the script as if it was nothing, and then watching it on stage and it was something. To make something out of nothing, I think, is just something I live by. And those 3 sort of memories are really the ones that sort of drove me into performance. I think the thing that I've noticed with a lot of drama school courses and a lot of auditions I've been on, I've been a number, and that's the first thing that I don't agree with. I don't like being a number. I don't like anyone being a number, and the good thing about the Forge Initiative is it works on each individual's strengths and weaknesses. It treats you as an individual. It doesn't just chuck you out on a conveyor belt of performers. Also, it's not just about performing. It allows you to prepare for writing, directing, producing your own work, and it just pushes you out into the world it's a survival guide. I think that's probably the best way to look at it, the actor's survival guide. I don't think you can say fairer than that for it. That's a good question. Why should anyone invest in anything? No, seriously, I'm a born entertainer. My whole life has just been about entertaining other people. Now, when I say entertainment, I don't necessarily mean making people laugh. One of the main things I like about theatre is that if somebody leaves at the end of a show learning something or taking something away with them, that's something, whether it's laughter, whether they can go out and quote lines that you've said, or whether they've learned an important life lesson about it. I think it's one of the sort of biggest mediums that there is in order to change people's lives. I mean, I'm not trying to be all posh about it or anything like that, but for me, I'm quite versatile. I've done a lot of slapstick comedy. I'm doing a show where I'm playing Charlie Chaplin at the moment, which is hence the hair. You can tell by my eyebrows I'm not normally black-haired. And again, slapstick, I've just finished a show called 40 Towers. But then also I've done a lot of Shakespeare. I've performed Macbeth, playing the role of Banquo, done Romeo and Juliet playing Mercutio, and Shakespeare is what I really started off really loving. It's almost as if it's written in a foreign language, but once you have learnt how to decipher what's being said, it just all flows and it all becomes natural. It all feels normal to you. So that was slightly off topic. Back onto the question, why should anyone sort of help me, is that I feel that I can bring something to not only the course, but with hopefully the company that's developed. I really feel like I have something to give. Whether that be writing, which I do a little bit of in my spare time, or whether that be as a performer, I really feel like this could be something special.